Okay, I want to say hello again everybody, it's only me, Wushu Richard. In this video I'm going to talk about a topic, okay, that just very briefly I'm just going to talk about a topic without covering any topics as such. So what am I talking about? What I mean is I'm not going to talk about all the troubles in the world and this or that, but what I will say is this. Individuals, okay, as human beings, people in the world, human beings, individuals and groups also, groups, no matter how big, okay, no matter how large, or no matter how small either, okay, so it could be one person in your group, or 100 or thousands or whatever, but what I'm going to say is this, okay, groups that represent anything, okay, even groups of one person, I'm saying, or anyone, people in the world, right, it's as simple as this. Usually, the larger the group, the larger the following, the larger the following. Sad thing to say, really. There, okay. Sad. Nobody seems to understand and represent themselves, and respect their own individuality and uniqueness, and respect others for that too. And people don't seem to, in that way, become more in touch with what it means to be human, people on the whole. So, okay, persons, peoples, and people, human beings, okay, all of us. So, what am I talking about? First of all, the governments, okay, or whatever is controlling the people with an iron fist, as such, across all cultures. There are powers that be that control the people, and the fewer of you that there are in your group, right down to being a single individual in society, you don't mean anything unless you're part of that group. But they always find a way to single out, or what's the word, outcast as such, reject. There are reject patches, rejected groups or individuals all over. It's where the power is. It's the power struggle always, And I know I'm not really going into much detail here. I'm just stuff that's already been said a million times. But that the power, the strong control the weak, and reign power over the weak. But what I'm trying to say, okay, is just like this. That's basically the main point I was going to say. So what I'm going to say is, it seems to me, that's the bottom line, what I was going to say is, your enemy, okay, your enemy, I believe, that's what I believe, my enemy, everybody's enemy, the enemy as in outside of yourself, the outside forces that be, that want to control you like a rat, a laboratory rat, or whatever, in a cage or whatever, It's like the powers that be that run your shit, excuse my language, that run your life, basically, or run you around this this thing you're encaged in, They basically control your enemies too. So what I'm trying to say there is, the bigger power, what's the best way to put this? It's like the higher power controls the big enemy, the enemy, which is let's say the government or whatever is, let's say, reigning power over you. They control the other groups, let's say, the other forces, the mini enemies as such, against you. So your enemies control your enemies, is basically what I'm trying to say. Your enemies basically enlist the help. Basically, They what's the word? They use your enemies. The enemy uses by any means necessary, you know, they'll get more support to bring you down. So, you know, that's basically what I'm trying to say. So, you know, it's just sad to see. What you can see it in the news all the time too. In the news, you can see it. You know, I saw a news story today. I'm not going to go into detail what it's about, because there's all kind of stuff going on in society, or societies, and you've got violence of all kinds. You know, violence towards this group, hate towards that group, free speech, no free speech. You know, you can see all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. Religious violence and all kinds of things. Okay, plus this other stuff. Like, I see the news in America with, like, you got one side against the other side, and one side's got a load of masks over their faces, and someone else is waving the next, you know, flag that's supposed to be in fashion. I don't know what's the word. It's like, from day to day, as we go through the years, human beings in general it seems almost incapable of realising value in themselves. But that's what I was going to say to you. So, you know, your enemies are sometimes created, or they join onto, you know, and are controlled by the main big enemy, which is you know, controlling you. So basically, you're like a drowned rat, basically. So the most important thing, though, is, I know I'm not really getting to much of a point in this particular video. I'll say I think the biggest point really is, the true enemy really is ourselves. And that's the same old thing. It's the same thing as I said before. You know, we are our own biggest enemy, really, because there's no need to be like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you get these different sayings like, well, you know, you can't, if you can't beat them, join them, sort of thing. You know, and you get that going on all over the place. That's what's going on. Lots of your would-be fellow human beings who also can't beat, let's say, the robots, you know, whatever's trying to take away our humanity. They will join up to that. You know what I mean? It's like people in a rough part of the neighbourhood, people living in a rough part of the world where there's poverty and stuff, or wherever, you know, and they'll end up joining gangs and stuff. They didn't, you know, and they say it's the way of life, it's the only way for them. You see, and that's what I'm trying to say. Even on a small level too, it's the same in schools with bullying and everything like that, or any kind of group, you know, like basketball teams or whatever. You want to join the good group, yeah. You want to join the power. They believe the power, connecting to another power, is the only power they're going to have. When actually that is total weakness. You know, it's like you want to be around good people just to find your own, just to give yourself the illusion of, it may be a true belief even, but believe that you are of value. And the moment they turn around and start, or the moment they are seen as nothing in the world, and there's something else to go to, you subscribe to something else. It's like you're lost in the world looking for yourself, but you never find yourself, and where you are is right here. Always in yourself, I'm saying. So it's like, your value is what you feel, no matter what you think of yourself and see yourself. That is you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So basically, you know, self-value, man, self-worth is what it's about. Your biggest enemy is you, but you can be your best friend too. There shouldn't be this power struggle. There shouldn't be this constant battle to prove something or join the right team. It's like, you want to join humanity, but the only way you can do it is by realising what you are. Because right now, if each and every individual human being is just not understanding what they are, and they just want to join, you know, the Red Masks Club, or the you know, the Blue Flags Club, or the, you know, or the spear fighting snake dragons, or whatever kind of a art club they're coming out with, you know, oh, you know, the Bread Eaters Club versus the Pizza Munchers Club. It might sound funny, but this is what's going on all over the world. And when people join groups, and this is said before, people joining groups and stuff, sometimes it can be the most crazy thing. It's like, wouldn't you feel in some ways the world is full of cults? You know what I mean? It's like cults, that's what it is. You know, it's brainwashing, but it's like not brainwashing like what you're thinking. Doctor old school sci-fi has got your head strapped to a cooking pot with electro sounds in the background, and he, while you're looking through a kaleidoscope, and he's giving you hypnotism readings and stuff. I'm not trying to say that, bringing you into another realm. I'm saying that it's brainwashing, you know, the blind leading the blind, absolutely. Everybody's following the blind man, but with their clear vision, you know. That's what it basically is, like, you know, yeah, all the way, you know. It's like the brainwashed think they see it. It's like basically underneath it all, people, you know, think they're fighting for their survival, think they're fighting or joining some kind of power which is going to make them, which is going to, I don't know, some kind of protect them in some kind of way. But at the end of the day, you know, there's so much to be enjoyed in life. It's like, I see these debates and arguments and all kinds of videos and fight videos. I see a lot of videos online, even like in Speaker's Corner, like in London. You see all these talks, you know, and you get different people with different beliefs, different religious beliefs, for example, or scientists and atheists and all kinds of people on there talking. And you see the same, and even in colleges too and things like that, you see like debates going on, or where, you know, there's a group of people against one group, or, you know, a group are cheering on this person, or that group's cheering on that person, and every individual cheers on their chosen group, you know. And it's like, at the same time, it's important to stand up for something sometimes, and it's important to, you know, debate things sometimes, or communicate, you know, in some way, of course. Now, but what I'm trying to say is, I feel usually though, I see a lot of these debates and stuff, people spend hours and hours and trying to win, win the crowd, you know, and it's like, there's a bit of ego here, a bit of ego there, nothing's totally like pure, they can't be totally honest with themselves, they're distracted so easily, and they're distracted from life. They're so busy thinking about the goal, as in now, in modern society, or whatever the fuck, you know, whatever their people stand for, or whatever people in general are so full of the principle of this or that, or right or wrong from whoever's perspective, and they're so full of determination, but they're distracted on fighting for the goal, you know, as such. I'm trying to you know what I'm trying to say, where it's like the goal of life, the purpose of life, and things like this. Now, regardless of if there's a God or not, or whatever you've been told is your purpose in life, you know, there's people, right, religious or non-religious, whoever, but there's people who are just not really living life peacefully, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, now, me, myself, I've never been really religious and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, as such, but I'm just saying, you know, it's like, if there was a God, let's say, if there's a God, and he's supposed to have, he, she, or it is supposed to have, you know, set us a kind of goal or a path to follow in life, and it's up to people to find. Let's say, for example, right, I'm just saying that, don't know what you believe, it's up to you, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, and if there is, let's say, a God or whatever that's created us, and it's given us choices that we can make, it's given us our own mind, but it's also laid out a path that we are supposed to follow, that's the right path, and also is not going to be against people as such, spreading the word of God or the plan, as in what it's supposed to be about. So he doesn't mind if people want to preach and all this all day long, because it's the right way to be, right? To be preaching and all that, you know. So, you know, so, as in, like, there is a right way of living, and there's nothing against preaching that right way, because it's, you know, it's what's the word? You know, putting the word out there, you know. But what I'm trying to say is, like, in the beginning, you know, regardless of if it's God or whatever it is, whatever it was, we've been created with this natural being that we are as human beings to be on the earth. The earth is here, and we are people on the earth, and we're just these animals. We're a bit smarter than other animals, a lot smarter we should be, but, you know, that's it. If we was in the fields, you know, picking apples from the trees or whatever, eating, hunting, whatever, for food, or whatever we're doing, we're just here, you know what I mean? We're just creatures, you know what I mean? It's like, we've got feelings for one another. Yeah, we can exercise and make our bodies stronger. Yeah, we can get into wrestling matches, boxing matches. We can get into fights, you know. Yeah, we are smart animals. We're smarter than apes, let's say. So yeah, we can make spears and start trying to kill each other, and bows and arrows, and then gradually we'll end up with a cities like we've got now, like with the internet and stuff. But at the end of the day, human beings is what we are. There's no real reason to be enemies of each other, and you know, it's like the trouble always starts somewhere. The trouble either starts in your mind or it starts somewhere for real. And a lot of people will say, well, no, while a lot of trouble does start in people's minds, a lot of trouble does actually start for real too, and we are getting attacked and robbed by the very whatever governments or systems that are, you know, putting us in these shit situations and are creating as such these ghettos or where crime is rife, you know. And there's no justice for anyone. Free speech is attacked. What the fuck is free speech? Excuse my language. Like, what the hell is free? I can't speak. What free speech basically means free thought. Basically, free being. The words are only what you say from what you believe anyway. But what I'm trying to say is, what the fuck do you believe? You walk around in this world, all you see is this goddamn, excuse my language, you know, fucking Millie Miley, fucking Cyrus, I don't know, Cosby, whatever's in the news, you know, fucking Kardashians, the Bieber, whatever the fucking crap, you know, in the news every day. Excuse my language, but I really don't fucking care, because there's people getting killed and massacred and whatever all over the place. People need to buck up their own fucking self, control themselves, and understand that we are creating our reality. All right now, you could have two armies fighting on the battleground right away. You might say I'm living in a dream world, but if this happened, you'd have a better world straight away. You could have two armies straight away right there. You know what I mean? And those two armies could just like put their guns down, go over and shake each other's hands and say, look, you know what? Shit, let's rebuild this place, man. Let's rebuild this village, you know. And they say, well, where's the money going to come from? So, fuck money. Money comes from trees. You just cut the fucking wood from the tree. So they just said, let's go over here and cut some trees. Let's make some buildings, you know. Do it. There's enough resources. If human beings weren't making money, if you were just living in the world now, we could still use our minds with the technology we've got and stuff to do everything. Now, you might say if there's no money, then how would anything be done? And so that starts off the whole thing again, the human process, the thing, you know, like a societal like process as such, where we need some kind of way to make an order that we all agree on different things, and everything comes into play. Laws, but let's say like rules as such, you know, to be like who does what, who works on the farming and has that people rely on him to do that, so that nobody goes hungry, you know. Who and the doctor, and you know, and who gets seen to first, where the priorities come from, so by the village doctor, let's say, you know what I mean, and who are the bricklayers, who are the electricians, you know, it all does come into play. Fair enough, like that. We understand that, you know, like. But I'm trying to say, if people just had a bit more fucking goodness in their heart and less negativity, at least that negativity, I believe, would be a bit watered down more. And the good and the harmony as such would reign over that. Right now, it's a fucking boiling pot ready to explode, the world. It's got negativity holding down the people. So there is no space for relaxation, calm, patientness in the mind, calmness in the mind, I'm saying, health, sanity to even be a thing, and which would lead to creative productiveness from communication, honestly, and working things out together. But right now, all you got is everybody against everyone. People joining whatever group they think is more powerful. But why is it never seems to end? Why is it that, you know, even if all of the weak people as such, or the good people, the weak people, are just destroyed by all of the evil in the world, the evil power that controls all of the other mini-evil factions, or that wipes us all out. Well, that's probably been going on for years anyway. People always just joining this group, joining that group. We are all basically the cause of our own self-destruction, be it you joining that group, be it you blaming the volcano that you jumped into, or blaming yourself for doing it, or you and the volcano, whatever you do, it comes from that. It's you and your position, and it's part of you being human. So if you want to touch something touch the fire that burns your hand, you're going to get burnt hands if you're human. That's all there is to it. It ain't going to matter much of it. So if you don't do it, you don't do it. So if we can't learn in this world, if people just want to join this group, join that group, dress up like this group, follow the rules of that group because that's what controls the land, and and they believe that that's the society that we create is actual nature when it isn't. We could all be on this fucking planet and follow nature, even if that is like created by God or whatever. I'm just saying, right? Then you'd be more. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? You'd be more free. So like people nowadays, they just want to get a tattoo, chop their fucking body up, chop off their genitals or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean, and get the latest hairstyle and start voting for, going on the street on a loudspeaker and rallying up hundreds of people to cheer for something that's just, it's like random out of the blue, but why not? If people want to believe they're a dog, they can. If they want to believe they're a robot, they can from outer space. It's just becoming like people that sit out of their damn heads. So when I believe, as I say, it's just hard to see. It's like you're being run by insanity, but it's like at the same time, it's not. It's like the evil factions are being the blind are being led by the blind. It's the same thing. It's that same old thing. So the blind groups are being led by the big blind overlooker. That's what it basically is. The one who sees all, who sees more than you. So there's always more being seen by whatever's running you. So I'm trying to say, before people start running their mouth, or before people start trying to run other people, or before people start trying to call out for screaming out for people to respect them and honour them, you got to respect yourself and honour yourself. Because hang on a minute, all that's being run by something. As soon as you open your mouth, are you telling me that's because so and so said this, or this is not because of the trouble in the world? Every time, the way you live, how much of the way you live, I'm asking you fucking personally, ask yourself, I don't really give a damn, ask yourself personally, in the world, what you do every fucking day, how much of that, or what you think, how much of that is related to what other people, how much of that is being forced, actually forced to be said, not because, because I'm saying, what the fuck, are you really, really being forced to do that? I just find most people are out of touch with reality. They're disconnected. You know what I'm trying to say? If it's me, I'll make a video about my pet rabbit. I'll make some cartoons, I'll do some drawing, I'll make some music. I'll do it for my pleasure. I'll do exercise, I'll do martial arts every day, stretching my body, keeping healthy and fit for my pleasure. My job is to be a teacher, because the society is run in such a way that we have to get paid to live and to eat, and we need money, and it's controlled. Unnatural, yeah, and I'm controlled in a lot of ways. I've got to go to what classroom at what time. There's rules, that fucking society imposes. But it's like I do everything from my mind. I communicate with human beings on a human level. I can immediately connect with more or less anyone, I feel, and understand that behind the insanity that may be there in any of us, behind it there's a human being who's just being oppressed, suppressed, just held down, That's what it basically is, and it's looking out. Everybody's looking out from behind a mask, just because you can't see their face. So that motherfucker's there. Excuse my language, right? That motherfucker's there. So I want to thank anybody who's watched this video and looked beyond me and my swearing at that, but just actually understood. Because what I'm saying here, this is not a mask, this is me speaking, saying what it is, but what I'm trying to say is it doesn't make a difference anyway. Whatever you see in the world, you've got inside, that's got to reflect from the truth. You're only seeing out from the core of you, what is you. And I'm going to bring up a quote from the Matrix again, from Morpheus speaking to Neo. You've got to let it all go, Neo. He says, you've been living in a dream world, you know what I mean? You've got to let it all go. sort of Alice in Wonderland, same thing. You've got to let it all go. You know, it's like you are told this is this and this is that. Advertisements left and right, different generations speaking a different way. Technology's got you. You know, technology is a tool, but it's like it's got you. Your brain just, people just like, you know. And the main point I was going to say though, in this video, just, you know, your enemies are controlled by the bigger enemy to suppress you. And people join groups thinking that they're fighting for something just, and you're always trying to look for your place in the group and that where that group's place is in society and this or that. And although we are governed by laws, borders, and all the rest of whatever is controlling humanity, unless you find the truth within yourself that you're a human being and realise that you've got to stop being the enemy of yourself and be a friend to yourself, you know, unless you do that, then you're always going to be lost. You know, the blind's going to always lead, you'll always be following the blind as a blind person yourself. You know, because they're all doing the same damn thing at the end of the day. If they was in your position, they'd be trying to fight their way into getting respect too, right? Trying to work their way into a group. All these people are like this, but you've got to understand, you know, what the fuck's that? If people only respect you for living up to their standards and their criteria, their standards, you know, and being what they are and speaking the way they are, you know, then what the fuck worth for you, even if you're promoted leader of that shit? Against the blind leading the blind. It don't matter who you're talking about, all of the people following the one or the one following the many. It's what I'm saying. He's totally insane that way. It's like a crazy fucking man running an insane asylum. And then years later you hear, well, were those people really mad that were put in there? And it's like some kind of movie script or something. I heard some story thing. And that's what I'm trying to say is, first and foremost, I believe you've got to understand who the fuck you are, what you are as a human being, and look at society around you. What the fuck are you living in? What's real about this? It's all just concrete walls for buildings we live in, for shelter from the rain, which is a natural thing. Start going back to the basics, and then start using things as a tool. Think about the way we cook, the way we eat, the way we do anything, and start being back to reality for a moment of what we actually do and how we're living. And then maybe when you understand that and you see that you know the truth, and you might say it's useless. No, fuck that. Reality is not useless just because it's being rejected by everybody else. It doesn't, because reality and nature don't give a fuck how many people you're talking about. Billions of people, all the people on the earth. It don't give a damn if it's one person or all the people on the earth, if they reject it or accept it. Reality is reality. And you've only got one chance to live, and you've also got one chance to pass it down to the next generation, whatever you think you learn or value. So, you know, rather than just being easy come, easy go, like a virus, like a disease on the fucking planet as well, you know, you could study what life is, study what you are doing on this planet, understand, be realistic, and look at another human being, and be fair and understand that this person, although they may be brainwashed and blind, even harder than you may be when I'm trying to explain to you anyway, but I'm saying, right, that kind of person is the same thing, right? That person is also a human being. And we can be patient and with a bit of heart and try and communicate on a fair level. You're never wrong. Positivity is never wrong. Reality is never wrong. That's what it is. So get real, you know. An enemy to people is an enemy to yourself. An enemy to reality is an enemy to yourself. Be that the groups led by the group, by the whoever the individuals and blah 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 blah, whatever. The enemy to reality is an enemy to the self. That's what it basically is. You know, there's no life where that can be. There's no being. You can't talk about free speech. You can't talk about you can't talk about anything being productive. There's no productivity there. Okay? So basically one finger to, you know, fuck, you know, the enemy to reality. It's like a one finger flipping itself off in the mirror. That's what it's basically like. Thanks for watching, take care, have a nice day and try to be positive in yourself. Thanks for spending half an hour to watch this with me, almost. Okay, and I'm just sharing my views on how I see the world, but I don't worry about things like that on my day-to-day life. I just be positive in myself and be creative. Take care now, and thanks for watching.